Yo, what's going on everyone? Welcome to Theme Deck Tuesday, and we did recently get the release of the new set Brilliant Stars, which means that we have packs available of that set in the tournament section of the game here. Of course, we can win 3 packs if we come first, and we do also get 200 coins as well, which we can use to spend on more packs in the shop. So let's get into it. We are theme deck focused today, of course, so we are looking to play a theme deck which is reliable, I have a lot of time with, and it is likely that we're going to win with it. So of course it's going to be old reliable Soaring Storm. I'm very sorry if you don't like the Soaring Storm deck, but as I say, we're here to win. We're focused on getting some packs of the newest set and showing off how you can do the same in your situation. If you have a deck that you're better with or you prefer, then definitely go ahead and use that one. I'm not condemning you using your favourite deck, but Soaring Storm just happens to be one of the best decks and also my favourite deck, so we'll go with it and see how we get on. Of course, thanks for all of the support recently. We just recently hit 300 subscribers. I know I've not mentioned it in any of my recent videos, but thought I would mention it now, as I know the theme deck format videos have been very popular over the last year and a half of me posting, so definitely just wanted to say a big thanks for that. And if you haven't subscribed already, definitely go ahead and do so, as it is much appreciated and all of the support has been immense recently, so it's been really great. And now, what do we want to start off with? We could have the Dratini here, I suppose, since it does have a free retreating option if it has a water energy attached to it. So we'll go with that, as we do have some other options here. I suppose I could have also went with the Pidgey in order to draw some cards with the Collect, also an option, but my point is starting with the Farfetch'd here. Let's just attach an energy, I suppose. Maybe we should have just started with the Pidgey, it probably would have made more sense, right? Then we could have actually drawn a card there, but that's fine. We have the energy on the Dratini. We can at least have that as an option in the late game if we needed to attack with Dragonite. That is always available. My opponent going for a Professor Kukui, and then they're just going to draw 2 cards as well. Definitely makes sense, but we have some great options to work with here. We have the Lantern in play. We've got the Pokemon Communication. I can put a card back into the deck and get us a different Pokemon that's going to be more beneficial. We could just get the Dragonite here, I suppose. That could also work. We're also going to get a Grimer to start drawing a bunch of cards, but I suppose the Dragonite actually makes a lot more sense, because then it's guaranteed. There's no way that my opponent can get it out of our hand. Sure, we are signalling that we do have it, but hey, we can just use Collect to draw a card and look to find a good attacker from this point. We do have some that can attack, but I would definitely like to find a alternative. My opponent going for a How, which draws them 3 cards, and they concede. What? What? They had a massive hand. Sure, they only had 1 Pokemon in play, but their hand was huge compared to ours, and they just choose to concede instead. Alright, that's fine by me. We get a free win, and I'll cut here and take us into the next game. Hopefully we get a equally quick one in that one as well, but we'll have to wait and see. Here we are then, game 2, and it is an actual mirror match as expected. Everyone loves Soaring Storm, I know. It is one of the best all-time theme decks, well, in the theme deck format anyway. I'm sure there's a lot of other decks that probably could have been better, but you know, we just haven't had them available since they stopped making the theme decks, which is rather unfortunate, as we did discuss in a recent video, but that's alright. We'll just have to see who can get set up quicker and ultimately win the game as a result of that. We have an excellent start here, as we have the Alolan Grimer as well as a double Pidgey. We also get the Tornadus down as well. I'm going to play it down as a good Pokemon to have, so I'm going to stick with it early. And we're going second, which is great. We can draw a bunch of cards in the early game right here. My opponent starting with the Thundurus. Good option, as they can get some early damage in. Not a lot else going on from them though, and we already pick up a Pidgeotto, which is awesome. Let's go for a Bird Keeper. Drawing 4 cards, there we go. We have everything that we need now. We are just missing some energy, but that's alright. We can use our Grimer Let's collect up some more cards. And okay, we get a Pokemon fan club. That's going to be good as we have the double communication. We're just looking for a couple of cards here. I think we're going to be looking to get a Dragonite line up. I suppose I could have started going for it in the previous turn. Could have got rid of the Pidgeotto, but honestly this is fine. We are in a good spot overall. Let's get rid of the Thunderous, and we'll instead get a dragon? Yeah, we'll get a dragon, but it's a Dratini, I should say. Shame that we only have one in the deck, but that's alright, we can make it work. Let's go for a Pidgeotto into play. Do want to find some energy if we can, so I do want to hold on to the rest of this hand, and we'll go for a How, which is a pretty good payoff, I have to say. Yeah, we're going to be weak to lightning, so I don't want to put up the Tornadus, that would be pretty bad. We'll start attaching onto the Thunderous instead, and we can draw with this Airmail, get another energy. Looks like a good shout, and nothing else to do here, so we'll just collect once again. Drawing 2. Okay, not bad, we get another Pokemon, so we can definitely get the Dragonair into play. And my opponent is able to get a knockout here, but we can sacrifice a Pidgey. I don't mind that too much, as they will go ahead in the prizes, but we will be ahead in the overall board state here. Let's promote, yeah, we'll promote the Pidgey like I say, and Pokemon Communication away. Oh, we just pick up another Pidgey, perfect. So we Pokemon Communication, get rid of the Tornadus, and we'll get this Dragonite into play here on the next turn if we can. And yeah, just continue to attach energy, I think, not much else for it. There's nothing that my opponent can do to stop us from doing this, so we'll just keep at it. Let's Airmail. Okay, we did get another Pidgeotto, not bad, not bad. And let's go ahead with a Pokemon fan club as well. We can grab a Grimer, and what else do we want here? Potentially another attacker, I suppose could be useful, so we'll go with that. Would have loved to put the Grimer down instead, but wasn't quite sure what I wanted to go for at that time. We can still sacrifice the Pidgey though. We can go for the Airmail, and then we can switch into the Pidgey that we put into play. That can give us another option of using Airmail. I'm going to get a Cynthia, which is not terrible. I'll take that out of the deck, and we'll pass to my opponent. We're going to have to look to use a Cynthia or a Lisa on this following turn, so we can try and find our Dragonite, as we've used up all of our Pokemon Communication. That's just the kind of nature of the deck, I suppose, but we really had to do everything that we could in order to get Dragonite going here, as my opponent is going to be quite behind. They are taking prizes, but like I say, they have to get their board up and try and catch up with us in that regard. Let's see if they have anything else to play. Oh, they're going for a retreat into Lantern. Interesting. Not quite sure why they didn't want to knock us out. We're in a good spot here, so I'm honestly quite fine with that. Let's go for an attachment, I suppose. We could start taking knockouts with the Thunderous, I guess, or we could go in with the Tornadus as well and take a knockout. So, we'll go with the Tornadus for now, and then we'll Cynthia. As I say, we're going to have a smaller hand to begin with, but we're looking for the Dragonite. Anything to get us towards that is going to be helpful. Just a bunch of energy so far though, which is not great, so we'll Airmail to get a Lantern. Airmail number 2, does that help? It does! Oh my god, we nailed it, we got the Dragonite. That is exactly what we're looking for here, so now we can start accelerating energy. We'll just leave the Lantern in the active for now, and we'll start attaching some of this. We'll get these onto the Tornadus, and we'll pass over to my opponent. Yes, it's giving them an extra turn, but I'm fine with that, as we are just going to wait and see what they have. Okay, they have the Dragonair coming down, they have another attacker, and a pass, which is perfectly fine by me. Let's go for a acceleration. I think we want to go ahead and attach first though, so that we can retreat, and we'll go into the Tornadus. and then we can use a Dragonite to accelerate some energy here. Definitely want to put a another lightning onto the Thunderous, I suppose, or I suppose it could be a water as well. So we'll go with one there, and we can go for one on the Dragonite. Then we'll use the Lily, get the maximum amount of cards drawn, and we do get a good amount of cards here as we have options for attackers. We even have the Pidgeot. This is looking very good for our side of the board, I must say. We get another energy as well, which is perfect. And okay, we're in a good spot. Nothing else that we want to play out here, so I'll go for the knockout. And we do get to start spreading some damage on my opponent's board in order to take easier knockouts down the line. As of course I mentioned before, but the Thunderous is only dealing 120, and it is good for in the mirror match when the other Pokemon have 120 HP, but it's fully useful for softening up bigger Pokemon as well when we use this Tornadus. So yeah, I do like going in with that. My opponent's going to hit us, we'll hit them back and get the knockout. We'll have to see though. Should be in a good spot. Let's promote the Thunderous. My opponent got the Dragonite as expected. And yeah, we have a few options. Let's go for the Pokemon Fan Club and search out a Chinchou. We can get a Lantern into play here. Although we do also need the Tornadus actually now that I look at it, so should probably put that into play before anything else. And let's accelerate energy as well, as always, putting that onto the Tornadus. And we can look to draw some cards with our air mails. And yep, that is definitely one that we want. We want to recover energy when we need it. We'll go for a second air mail, get some more energy into the hand. And we'll take the lightning, that's fine. And we can look to get a knockout here. We can also attach energy from our hand. We could probably just put that onto a Pidgeot, or Pidgeotto at the moment, and look to use that, that's fine. We'll go for the knockout, as I say. Could we have used, yeah, we probably could have used the first attack, but no, that's not quite doing enough damage, just 70, so definitely needed the secondary attack here. And we'll put some damage onto the Pidgey, I suppose. Maybe shouldn't have, I'm not sure. Probably a misplay there, as my opponent can also spread damage, so kind of regretting that and could have put it elsewhere, but you know, just in the moment, you can't quite decide. And we see my opponent is just continuing to attach onto the Thunderous anyways, so they're not too bothered about using the Tornadus. Does make sense, as the Thunderous is going to be getting one-hit knockouts. And we see they're going for a Pokemon Communication, potentially stalling as well, using that Grimer, which is going to put us in the lead here, and I'm perfectly fine with that. What could they be getting off of this communication though? That is the question. Is it going to be another attacking option? Is it going to be another dragon? Nope, it's just a little Pidgey instead, as they want to try and get their consistency up. We see here they are down quite a lot, only having 5 cards in their hand is a huge setback for them, as we have a lot of options to draw still. I think we could go for a knockout. We're able to easily do that. We could also switch into the Tornadus and do it that way if we want to, and I think that is probably the better option, as we can use spread damage, try and keep our Thunderous around on the board. Yeah, let's go for that. I'm quite happy to do it, as we can just have a 1 retreat cost, so it's fairly easy to retreat, and we can attach from our hand. Do we want anything else here? Potentially, we do have a bug catcher that we could use, as well as a How, and that could be useful to draw out some extra cards, I suppose. So we'll go with the bug catcher for now. We are getting 2, not bad, not bad. We can Dragonite, accelerate those, put them, or 1 onto the Thunderous. Not that one though, definitely didn't mean that one. So now I have to attach both of them, which is fine, I suppose. We'll go for another airmail. We get a Dragonite, I suppose. It means that we have another option of getting a second Dragonite if we want it. Don't want to deck out though, so that is probably a good point in the game to stop drawing cards and try and just take the rest of our knockouts here. going down to 3 prize cards. Okay, we get a Fisherman, that is perfect. We can recover energy as we need it. My opponent coming in here for a knockout against our lightning weak Pokemon, so it's fairly easily for them to get a knockout here. They did the same mistake as me, but I actually needed it. They, however, do not need to be attaching that energy to the active, as they do already have Tornadus in play. But we see a Cynthia from them, shuffling in, getting 6, and they're going to be looking to get some extra energy to accelerate with their Dragonite, of course. We have a lot of good options though. As I say, as long as they don't use the Tornadus in order to knock out our Pidgey, we should be good here. Let's see what they go for. Are they just going to be attacking? Do they have anything else that they can set up? We certainly have a lot of options that we can use. Using Airmail, drawing another card, makes sense as they want to try and catch up in terms of their hand and drawing through their deck. Certainly catching up in terms of the hand size, but deck not so much. And they're going to struggle to try and keep up in the prizes, but they've done well so far. Let's see here, they're going for the attack, choosing where they want to put damage on their own board. And that's going on to the Dragonite, surprisingly, so I guess they're not really too fussed about using that as an attacker. We can go in with our Thunderous of our own. I believe this is probably the best option. It's not going to get knocked out anytime soon, so it makes sense to go in with this. And I think we can look to set up our Lantern here. Suppose we could go in with the Dragonite as well, but Lantern's probably the better option, so we'll go with that and start attaching energy and getting some back as well with our Fisherman. Have a nice split here, makes sense to me. And let's see, we can use Dragonite. We'll accelerate onto the Dragonite itself. Don't see why not, as that gives us a good spread of options. And we can also attach a Lightning onto the Chinchou. Nothing else that I want here, so we'll just go for the attack and get the knockout. We'll put damage onto the Pidgeotto, I suppose. Get a nice knockout there. Going down to 2 prize cards. My opponent's still having to catch up here, playing a game of cat and mouse really in this mirror match. Definitely questioning whether I should be putting the damage onto the Pidgeys or onto something else. Really don't want to be putting it onto Dragonite in case I need to attack with it. Same in the case of Chinchou going into a Lantern. But alternatively, my opponent could use a Tornadus in order to use bench damage and take out those Pidgeys that have damage, and Pidgeotto as well. But you can only do that if you have the Thunderous. My opponent does have both of them in the discard pile here. Can't quite remember if this deck plays any ways of recovering Pokemon. I don't think it does. I have to say, I don't think there's any kind of Super Rod or Rescue Stretch or anything like that. So we should be fine here. My opponent won't be able to get any kind of recovery on those and then won't be able to deal bench damage. So not too worried about that. They go for another Cynthia, which is questionable at best, but looks like they're really lacking in the energy department here, which is great news for me. They do manage to find some though, which they're going to accelerate with Dragonite, and they're putting it onto the bench, so probably going to be sacrificing Dragonite at this point unless they've drawn into a switch as well. But if not, then they're really going to be losing this game fairly quickly from this point. See another Airmail. They're getting a lot of post off of that Airmail. I mean, sure, we have twice as much, but we've had to stop drawing as, you know, we don't have any space to keep all of this post anymore. My opponent using the energy recycler thingy majig, putting some energy back into their deck, which is fine by me, as it's not going to be all that helpful to them. We can get a Lantern into play, and I suppose we can just attach the rest of this energy, put some onto the Pidgeotto, and we could also put some back into the deck as well, just to get our deck size up a little bit better. Get those back in there, and yeah, that's all for me. I think we can Dragonite, I suppose, accelerate some energy. We have a Water and a Lightning that we can use. We'll put the Water onto the Dragonite, so we can use that as an attacker, and seeing as we have to discard energy for Dragonite, we can put the other one on there as well. Why not? Let's go for the knockout though, and put damage onto our... I suppose we could put it onto the Lantern, and the only issue is that that is going to allow the Tornadus to knock it out, so you know what, we'll put it onto the Pidgeotto, that seems fine. Get the knockout on Dragonite means that they can no longer accelerate energy, and we are down to one prize card remaining, so very close to winning this game. My opponent is down to just one attacker left, which is only able to deal 80 damage, not even enough to get a knockout on our Thundurus right now, and even if they do somehow get a knockout on it, not quite sure how, but if they were able to knock it out, we have plenty of other options to come in here and close this game nice and effectively. Hopefully it has been a good showcase so far of the tournament structure in this format and how you can easily win some packs, but as I say, you really need to use a deck that you're very familiar with and that you're comfortable playing. Sure, this is one of the better decks, but I would recommend certainly using one of the better decks. You don't want to be going in there with like a deck from 10 years ago that's just terrible on the online game, and as we can see, my opponent concedes. They know that there's nothing that they can do, so we're able to close that game, and we're going to be heading into the finals here. Going into our finals match then, as we expected, it is against another Dragonite deck, another Soaring Storm. I did apologise at the start that we were going to see a lot of this, as it's kind of to be expected. It's just the go-to deck for a lot of people at this point in the format, as it is really a dying format at this point, but we'll have to see. Hopefully we can make it a bit of a faster game than the previous one, but I have to say we're up to a very good start overall. We have a lot of good options here. I think I'm actually going to... I suppose we could hold on to the communication, get that Dragonite out a little bit faster. We can attach an energy onto the bench, and we'll pass over to our opponent. Just a shame that we don't have another better attacker that we can be attaching energy onto there. And we also don't have a supporter card like my opponent, which is rather irritating. But they're going to be attacking with the Chinchou here, doing 10 damage onto our Grimer. It's going to take them a while to get a knockout there, so that's not too much of a big deal. Let's evolve into the Pidgeotto, as I say, holding onto the Lantern so that we can get the Dragonair into play here. We do at least have both of the entire Dragonite line, so we can get two of those into play throughout the game if we need it. And we can now Airmail, looking for a supporter. Oh man, we do have a Dragonite though, that is so annoying. Oh, I'm going to have to take the Dragonite. We don't want to miss this opportunity and send it to the bottom of the deck, so we'll take the Dragonite. We can keep attaching onto the bench, and then we can use a Grimer. Draw two cards from here. We're in a good spot overall, and we do get another supporter at the very least, so honestly not a terrible start, as we have been able to get the Dragonite up as quickly as we can. And it looks like my opponent has a very slow start on their end, so we should actually be very comfortably winning this game. We'll evolve into the Dragonite. We can use our How first of all, rather than using anything else. Not amazing, but we can certainly look to find a different attacker that we can power up, and we'll be looking to get some damage out. We could use the Lantern, I suppose, but we don't really have the lightning energy for it, so we'll just get the Tornadus for the time being. And we can accelerate some energy onto there. And we can also use our Airmail, since we've not used that quite yet. And perfect, we get a Cynthia for the following turn. Definitely going to be needing that. Do we want to put down another Pidgey? Probably not yet. We'll hold off on that, and we'll just draw two cards with our Grimer. Perfect, getting the lightning energies there, as we can accelerate those. And we'll just be looking to get a switch card, but my opponent is getting a Lantern, so they're actually able to get a knockout on us without even discarding the energy off of the Lantern, so very good position for them. But as long as we can get a nice stream of attackers once again, should be able to close out this game, as they're not able to find a Dragonite or a Dragonair either. We'll promote, I suppose we could promote the Chinchou and try and find a Lantern. as we are going to get hit for a weakness if we don't. So yeah, we'll promote the Chinchou for the time being, and we get another Airmail, sure. Let's Dragonite. Oh man, this kind of sucks because we don't quite have the right amount of attackers, not quite the right energy at the minute. I kind of want to just go in with Dragonite and get a nice big knockout with that instead, so a little bit of a shame because I'm going to be losing the energy here, but I think I do have to guarantee ourselves the knockout on this Lantern, or else it's just going to run through our whole board. Let's attach all these energy, go for the Cynthia, and see what we get off with that. We should be fine after that, and yeah, we pick up a Fisherman, so this is actually a perfect setup, and we can start getting the rest of our board going here with the Airmail. Get another Lightning energy in the hand, and we'll go for the knockout on this Lantern, eliminating the only attacker my opponent has been able to build up. We'll discard a Lightning and the Water, get those in the bin, and get our first prize card here. We're going to see if my opponent promotes the Pidgey. They do indeed. They want to try and find that Dragonite, so I'm not going to be promoting the Dratini. They do at least find the Grimer, but really should not be playing the Grimer down, as it's just going to be taking up bench space and giving me free prize cards at the end of the day. They do find a Pidgeotto. Please do not play that down, that's a terrible idea. But we see a retreat instead, so definitely makes a lot of sense here, going into the Grimer, getting the Airmail, trying to draw cards as much as they can to try and build up their hand and get something at the very least going. We'll be looking to get a switch if possible. If not, then I think we'll just have to go ahead and attack with the Dragonite once again, but definitely not the optimal attacker at all here. We do get another Airmail though, so we can get a couple of draws before relying on the Fisherman, and as I say, we can look to get a switch if we can off of these. Do have another opportunity here, not going to happen, so we'll just take the energy instead, and let's see, we'll happily accelerate some of this onto our board. Do believe just kind of made a mistake there. Probably should have used the Fisherman first. We can retreat though into a different attacker and use that instead, as we do have the Tornadus. So we'll go in with the Tornadus instead. We do have a 2 retreat cost, and we can attach manually from our hand. That's totally fine. And instead we can go for the Bug Catcher, look to draw cards. Okay, it's not too bad. We have been able to maintain our attack here and get a knockout nonetheless, but yeah, got a little bit ahead of myself and was under the impression that Dragonite could attach any energy, but does have to be a Lightning and a Water energy, so a little bit of a misstep. Should have done the Fisherman first, got the Water energy back and reattached it, but this could work out better for us anyways, as my opponent is forced to put down another Grimer, which they're going into, and it's going to give us another free prize card, as they really don't have a lot else going on. We do also have the Pokemon Fan Club that we drew into, so we're still in a good spot overall, I have to say. Let's Fan Club right here, and we'll look to get a Thundurus, potentially another Tornadus, but doesn't look like that's going to be available, so we'll just get another Dratini. That seems fine. Get the Thundurus into play and accelerate energy onto it. Definitely want to do that. And then we can also attach from our hand, as that is always going to be helpful. Let's Airmail, see what we get. Well, we actually get a decent choice of cards, I should say. And let's Airmail again. Okay, more energy. I'll always happily take energy when we have the Dragonite in play. Nothing left to do here, so we'll just go ahead and attack, get the knockout, and start spreading damage on my opponent's board. Going down to 3 remaining, and as I say, it was really down to whoever could get Dragonite set up quickly, and it was going to be down to myself getting that on board on the 3rd turn of the game. My opponent is struggling to get any energy into play here in order to pull off an attack which is going to be relevant at all. Finally being able to find that Dragonair is going to allow them to get Dragonite up on the following turn, but I think it's going to be a little bit late at that point. They do get to hit for weakness, which takes out our Tornadus. We get to keep a lightning energy around though, which is always helpful. And we'll go in with our Thunderous getting the knockout on the mirror. And okay, we pick up a Grimer, not super relevant. Let's just attach another lightning. And what else do we want to play here? We could get another Dragonite, I suppose, and go in with the Lantern. We could also use the How. Yeah, we do have a good couple of options. Let's start setting up another Dragonite, I think. It's going to be most helpful. And then we'll use the How. Draw 3. Just going to be a bunch more energy cards. We do still have a reasonable amount of cards in our deck. And we do of course have Cynthia, so I don't mind drawing a couple of extra off of the Airmill. And let's see what we get. Okay, Chinchou, not bad, not bad. Let's Dragonite though to accelerate some more energy. We'll put some onto the Dragonite itself, once again having that as a good attacker. And yeah, we're good to go here. We'll attack with our Thunderous for the knockout. I think we can put some damage potentially onto the Lantern, I suppose, in case they get a return knockout. Could be reasonable, as I don't really want it on the Pidgeotto based off of the last game that we had anyway. I suppose we could put it on the Dratini, so we'll go with that. We're going to be evolving it anyway, so we'll go with the Dratini. Take the knockout here, as I say. We are very quickly closing this game, and we do pick up our other Tornadus, which is definitely what I was looking for there. It's going to be a great attacker throughout this game in order to just soften up all of my opponent's board. So we see they are attaching to the active, which I have to say is not the best idea. It's going to get knocked out fairly quickly here, and even if you retreat, then you're just wasting the energy. Makes a lot more sense to attach it onto the bench, but I suppose they did actually find their Dragonite, so they can accelerate some energy onto the active, as long as they find that energy, of course. They pick up a water energy from the discard, and we see them using the ability on Dragonite here. Going to be accelerating onto the active, so they do indeed get the energy that they need, and they can pull off an attack. It's going to be knocking out our Dratini, which is a little unfortunate, as I was really not expecting them to actually pull off the attack there, but looks like they were able to do so. We can at least get a return KO with our Lantern if we want though. Probably seems like the best option, I think, as they are weak to lightning, so we'll go in with that. Protect our Thunderous. We do have the Fisherman here. Make sure that I use the right one, the Fisherman. And we'll just check the discard. Yeah, we have plenty in there, so we'll Fisherman, pull out a bunch of energy to accelerate, and we'll just split it up. Don't see why not. Use our Dragonite, and excuse me, actually let me use it. Then we can accelerate a lightning and water. It's going to make me attach the water first. Doesn't really matter, as they're both going on active anyways. Opponent giving us a well played, which is very nice of them. And I think we can put down the Tornadus here. Definitely want to use that still, so we'll put it into play. And there we go, my opponent concedes. They knew that they weren't going to be able to keep up with our board state and our game plan there, so we get a couple of extra coins for winning the game, and as we can see in the end screen, we get our 3 packs and 200 coins for winning the entire tournament and coming first. So another awesome video and tournament win using our theme deck, the Soaring Storm. Always useful in that regard. There's one from a previous tournament that I played as well. Didn't go quite so well and as to plan, but this one certainly did. So give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you're going to be doing this strategy, and I'll see you in the next video.